In the bustling city of Taipei, Taiwan, something strange happened. It was 2014, and ATMs across the city started spitting out cash. Not just a little, but millions of dollars. It seemed random. No one knew how it was happening. The police were baffled. Who was behind this mysterious theft? Investigators started digging. They reviewed security footage from the ATMs. What they saw was shocking. The footage showed people withdrawing huge sums of money. But these weren't your typical bank robbers. They weren't breaking in or using force. They were simply using ATM cards. As they looked closer, they found a clue: malware. It seemed the ATMs had been infected with malicious software. This malware allowed the thieves to control the machines remotely and make them dispense cash. But how did the malware get there? And who was behind it all? This ATM heist was just the tip of the iceberg. It would soon become clear that this wasn't the work of a few opportunistic criminals. This was a highly sophisticated operation, orchestrated by a group that would come to be known as Carbanak. The Carbanak group was unlike any other. They were a cybercrime syndicate with a global reach, targeting banks and financial institutions around the world. Their methods were advanced, using spear phishing emails to infiltrate bank systems and deploy their malware. International law enforcement agencies had to collaborate to track down these cyber criminals. The investigation spanned multiple countries and involved cutting-edge cyber forensics. Eventually, the efforts paid off. Several members of the Carbanak group were apprehended, but the hunt for the masterminds continued. The case of the ATM heist in Taipei was a wake-up call for the world, highlighting the growing threat of cybercrime. The Carbanak heist was a stark reminder that in the digital age, even the most secure systems can be vulnerable. It was a lesson in vigilance and the importance of cybersecurity in protecting our financial systems. The investigation took a turn when cybersecurity experts were called in. They discovered something crucial: evidence of a program called VNC on the infected ATMs. VNC stands for Virtual Network Computing. It's a type of software that allows you to control a computer remotely. Imagine being able to see and use someone else's computer screen from anywhere in the world. That's what VNC allows. The discovery of VNC was a game changer. It meant that the attackers didn't need to be physically present at the ATMs. They could control them from anywhere with an internet connection. This explained how they managed to hit so many ATMs across different locations. But how did they get the VNC software onto the ATMs in the first place? And how did they gain access to the bank's network to control them? The answer lay in a clever and insidious tactic: spear phishing. Spear phishing involves sending targeted emails to trick individuals into revealing confidential information. Once the attackers had access, they could install the VNC software and control the ATMs remotely. This sophisticated method allowed them to steal millions without ever being physically present. Spear phishing is a type of cyber attack that targets specific individuals or organizations. The attackers, in this case Carbanak, crafted emails that looked like they were from trusted sources like a bank or a colleague. These emails often contained attachments or links. When an unsuspecting employee clicked on a link or opened an attachment, they unknowingly downloaded malware onto their computer. This malware wasn't designed to cause immediate damage. Instead, it lurked silently in the background, recording every keystroke made on the infected machine. This is known as keylogging. With keylogging, the Carbanak hackers were able to steal login credentials, passwords, and other sensitive information. This gave them the keys to the kingdom, access to the bank's internal network, and control over their systems. Carbanak also used remote access tools to navigate the bank's systems undetected. They manipulated databases and transferred money to their accounts, making off with millions. To cover their tracks, they deleted logs and other evidence of their activities. By the time the bank discovered the breach, it was often too late. Section 4. Cashing out. From ATMs to dormant accounts. With their foot in the door, the Carbanak gang could initiate transactions, move money between accounts, and even manipulate ATM balances. They employed a technique called ATM jackpotting. They would remotely instruct an ATM to dispense cash at a specific time, and their accomplices, known as money mules, would be waiting to collect the loot. Their operation wasn't limited to ATMs. They targeted banks worldwide, infiltrating their systems to transfer funds to accounts they controlled. They also utilized dormant accounts, injecting stolen money into these accounts and then withdrawing it before the banks noticed. The Carbanak heist was a carefully planned and executed cyber robbery. Their ability to remain undetected for extended periods allowed them to steal vast sums of money from banks around the globe. They were the ultimate digital bank robbers. Dormant accounts were a goldmine for them, as they could inject and withdraw funds with minimal detection. The Carbanak gang's meticulous planning and execution made them one of the most successful cybercriminal groups in history. Section 5. The World Fights Back, a Global Investigation. As the scale of the Carbanak operation became clear, a global investigation was launched. Law enforcement agencies from across the world, including Interpol, Europol, and the FBI, joined forces with cybersecurity experts. Together, they began piecing together the puzzle, tracing the flow of money, and tracking the hackers' digital footprints. The investigation was long and complex. It involved analyzing massive amounts of data, tracking transactions across borders, and coordinating with authorities in different countries. The hackers used various techniques to cover their tracks, including using virtual private networks, communicating through encrypted channels, and laundering money through a complex network of shell companies and intermediaries. Despite these challenges, the investigators made progress. They identified some of the key players involved in the operation, traced their locations, and gathered evidence of their crimes. The global coordination and relentless efforts of the task force were crucial in dismantling the Carbanak network. Ultimately, their hard work paid off, leading to multiple arrests and the seizure of significant assets. Section 6. The ever-evolving threat, Carbanak's legacy. The Carbanak case sent shockwaves through the financial industry and the cybersecurity world. It exposed the vulnerabilities of banking systems and highlighted the growing threat of sophisticated cybercrime. While the investigation resulted in the arrest of some of the key members of the Carbanak gang, including the alleged mastermind, the fight against cybercrime is far from over. Carbanak's tactics and techniques have been adopted by other cybercriminal groups. New gangs have emerged, employing similar methods to target financial institutions and other organizations worldwide. The threat is constantly evolving, with hackers finding new ways to exploit vulnerabilities and stay one step ahead of security measures. The Carbanak heist serves as a stark reminder of the importance of cybersecurity. It underscores the need for robust security measures, continuous monitoring, and international cooperation to combat the ever-evolving threat of cybercrime. The legacy of Carbanak is a call to action for individuals, businesses, and governments to work together to protect our digital world from those who seek to exploit it. Reflecting on Carbanak's legacy, it's clear that the battle against cybercrime is ongoing and ever-changing. The lessons learned from Carbanak must be heeded to prevent future attacks. Carbanak's impact is a stark warning of the potential damage cybercriminals can inflict on a global scale. Vigilance, education, and innovation are key to staying ahead of the ever-evolving threat landscape. The legacy of Carbanak is a powerful reminder that cybersecurity is not just a technical issue but a critical component of our global security.